far as the update continues, they're at the ACT Theater talking about their latest ACT production called Mary and Walt. First show coming up on May 12th, just around the corner. 7 cast members. We're going to start off by having the cast members introduce themselves, who they play in the production, that type of thing, and go from there. Now, this is Amy, and you're playing Randy, right?
That is correct.
Okay, now I've been told you're spunky. What do you mean? But what is that? What should I take out of that?
Well, spunky is the nice way of saying it. What I am.
I see.
I am
opinionated.
Controlling, opinionated. I don't necessarily like all people, and I'm not afraid to let them know that. I don't really have a filter in the show, I feel like.
Was this the original role you hoped to get in this production when you tried out?
Well, I guess it was the only role that fit my age group
Okay.
and
personality.
And personality, yeah. I think it fits right in. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Gets to come out.
Okay, now this is Shannon. Talk about now your brother and sister, correct, Shannon?
Yes.
But you're unlike your sister. You're not spunky. You're kind of dull. Would that be a way to put it? Is that a good way to put it?
Or he's the pretty dumb one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a butter knife.
He's a good-looking lad.
He's the pretty and dumb one.
Talk about your role you play in this production, if you don't mind.
I play Randy's brother, which is Walt's son. I come with Randy because I think she told me to. And we come down to get Walt, but I don't think I have such a great life in Wisconsin because I just decided to stay, so.
We should mention the whole play itself is based right here in Wisconsin, isn't it? Should talk.
No, Wisconsin is based in Florida.
It's based in Florida, okay. Yes. All right, we're going to talk more about that in a second. Shannon, you've done some acting, obviously, in high school. How does this differ from high school?
You know, it doesn't that much.
Okay.
Except you're older.
Except I'm older, yeah, pretty much.
So not really a big difference for you. I guess the main difference would be when you start on May 12th. The crowd's kind of right on top of you, though. That'd be the biggest difference, I would guess.
Yeah. Yes. That's the only thing I've done at ACT has actually been in a gym, so I've never been on this stage before. So
that's right, he was included.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, this is Walt.
This is Walt and Shelley.
And Shelley, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Walt and Shelley.
Shelley has no lines.
No, but she's a very, very important role to me, and she's the one who talked me into doing the show, quite honestly. She and Sharon Larkin, who tricked me into it by saying, just a couple lines, don't worry about it.
Uh-huh.
You too?
Shelley's a good listener.
Shelley is a good listener, and she doesn't break as easy.
We're going to talk to Mary in a second. Now, you guys, you met at the Tomah VA. Is that where you met?
Yeah, the story originates at the Tomah VA, where both
Wow.
Mary and Walt meet each other,
Uh-huh.
and then they migrate down to Florida, and their relationship goes on for some time, and apparently the kids think that Walt's getting to an age that he probably shouldn't be there alone, and they're probably right. So they come out to get him, to bring him home, but meanwhile, Mary has had her own agenda that she's been working, and quite devious. This is a stretch for Bridget, quite honestly. It's a stretch. In a lot of ways. Yeah. What? Something I said?
Oh, you're a funny boy.
You know, that's the best part of it. You get to do it with a friend of yours, and you get permission to tease her, and she can't do much about it.
Other just slap you around a little bit.
That happens anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Now, Walt, as the play goes on, do people know you guys are married?
I think he wasn't sure at some point too. It sounds like he was a little. No, they do eventually learn this, but I mean the interesting part is what makes this show interesting, at least for me when I first read it.
Sure.
Was it's contemporary. It has a lot of references that are going to be really relevant to people who live in this area. Not just the Tomah VA, but the type of interactions that Walt and Mary have. Quite honestly, as I've read this role and played it, I've spent a lot of time at home going, my gosh, I got to try really hard not to be this, because I think I'm already this. And yeah, and then all the heads are nodding. So, yeah. So there is a little bit of Catholic guilt. So Catholics will love this show because, boy, we hit you right where you live in that Catholic guilt. And And as far as the feel-good story, boy, it comes around full circle and it really delivers a great message at the end.
So if someone comes to see marrying Walt, what do you hope they take out of it?
I hope they bring money.
Okay.
In the
Start, yeah.
form of buying tickets, and then by the way, we have a 50-50, and then in addition to that, we also have a matching fund. So if you make a donation, we also have, so we have a few other things that you can bring your money for, and if you don't, we'll take a check. But
Okay.
I mean, we're coming out of COVID. This is going to be a really good opportunity for us to kind of reopen the theater, to really re-engage and get people back in here. And by the way, we have a liquor license. That's important as well.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if you've had a White Claw, you're a lot more going to like the show.
All right, let's talk with Mary now. Mary, you meet Walt at the VA here in Tomah, correct?
No, I'm good without Shelley, but thank you all. Yes, I was a graveyard shift nurse when I met
see.
Walt, and he was a patient.
Here she goes.
Curiosity, I need to ask, what was the attraction to Walt?
It was
I'm
backside.
not seeing
I
it
can
as I
show
see-
you.
Let's just say, Walt
Shelley
had a
is.
way of wearing his hospital gown
Oh, I see, okay.
that
Uh-huh.
attracted me to him.
Okay.
I still wear it that way. honestly.
No, I always have to keep telling you to turn back around the other way. It's like,
All the pointing and squinting at
That's why I have this hat.
And as we mentioned earlier, through most of the show, people don't realize that you and Walt are married. Is that correct? If I'm
Don't
understanding?
realize that we're not married?
That you guys, right.
I think
right.
the first part of it, they assume we are.
Right, it would be real easy to assume at first, yes. And yes, and then conversation ensues with Father Tom, and then and then you start to figure it out that we're not, and then you also find out that my character is not very happy about that fact.
And this is a
he's
stretch.
so, and Walt is so blasé about the fact that we're not married, and he just has no problem with it.
I see.
And Mary just really doesn't like living in sin.
Oh, and Mary and Bridget, she has to dig deep to find the unhappiness. Deep.
Really?
Well, and the thing too, though, again, what makes it interesting is when you go back to the kids, he's got this very, again, unusual relationship with his kids that allows him to.
Oh, you mean
really-
abandonment?
Yeah,
There's
he's detached, and then they're trying hard to connect with him. And again, that's kind of, I sit at home going, am I doing enough for my family? Am I, but it really is a well-written character. Yeah. And then when she gets going, gosh, that's the thing with the show when Bridget's in it. The script is just a suggestion.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
Hey, I delivered it first, so I win.
Opportunity to talk last.
She does?
Be careful what you say.
Bridget, the floor is all yours.
I'm just going to abstain.
That's part of their problem. Shelley is watching you.
Let me ask you this before we move on, talk to the rest of the cast. You've been in a lot of ACT productions. What attracts you to this one?
Well, there was Sharon's pleading voice on the other side of the phone for this one.
Okay.
Bridget, what are you doing? I was like, well, let me read it. And then I read it. And when my genuine emotions came out when I was reading it, I was like, I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
totally in. I was totally in. So it read really well. I called her, I went, oh my goodness! And she goes, I know. I said, I got to do it.
What was that again?
No, I said, I know.
And you and I talked right before the Mr. Legs contest, and you told me at that time, ton of lines for you to learn in this one, correct?
Yeah, yes, yes. And for this 60-year-old brain, it's
60, my gosh.
stop talking.
All right, this is Natalie. Now, Natalie, you play Jackie, or kind of the best friend of Mary, is that correct?
That's correct.
How long have you guys been best friends? How did that all come together? How do you become best friends?
They finally came to I'm assuming they came to the
Trailer
trailer
park.
park, and I was living there with one of my husbands, and buried a lot of them,
Some of them were dead.
And I was probably 2 houses down from theirs, and we just got to be good friends, and
Well, you do know everybody, and you know everybody's business, so.
well, I try to.
Mary's probably the only one who'll let you borrow everything and anything.
Well, yes.
Jackie doesn't go shopping, she just comes to our house.
I see.
You seem to have it all, and if you don't, you got the coupons over there that I use.
So how would you describe your role in this production? If you had, how would you describe your role?
Well, I like to know everybody's business.
Okay, that's, I was told
No,
that,
the role of the
yes.
show.
Boy.
And I think I'm a little frustrated with the opposite sex.
Uh-huh.
Delicate way of putting it. And she's attracted to younger men.
Well,
Oh, really?
you know, it
Okay.
never hurts to scope out a bachelor. But I'm very happy living here in this park, and I've got lots of friends here, and they're two of my best friends. Mary especially. Now Walt, you know,
You just have to
he's
tolerate that
yeah,
one.
he's yeah. I don't
So
think he
sh-
likes me as much as Mary likes me.
So should I take out of this, your rapport with Walt is not the same as it is with Mary?
That is correct.
Okay. And will I notice that on stage?
Well, I think
I guess
so.
I will.
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Stuart, you play Father Tom.
Yes.
And the way these interviews are going, probably not a moment too soon to have a father involved here. Talk about your role.
60-year-old man,
Oh, okay,
30 years, best friends with Walt.
okay.
Catholic priest.
Catholic priest, yes. Not a rabbi, loves to play golf.
What about the rabbi?
He's not a rabbi.
He's
Oh,
not a
not a
rabbi.
And he's
Yeah,
totally
yeah, we know
unaware of
he's
us
not a
living in
rabbi.
City.
Yes. Very gullible and innocent.
So what attracts you to this role? Is this the role you wanted to have?
No, my therapist told me to get out of my comfort zone.
Okay,
So then her Sharon told at our group that she needed a priest, and I was like, I'll
That's about as
audition for it.
uncomfortable as it
Yeah, so
comes.
Yes.
I would be uncomfortable doing that. So
Well, that's part of acting, you know, you're uncomfortable, but you go through it.
I'm just trying to figure out how you fit into this,
Yeah.
but I guess it'll all come together, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You'll understand at the end.
All right, and the only person we really haven't talked with is Pete Reichart. And Pete, you have a small role, but no roles are really too small, are they?
Well, you know, I'm a classically trained actor.
Yeah, I was told
I've
that.
done
Yeah.
a lot of Shakespeare,
Yes.
Albert Shakespeare, and I've been on Broadway. Matter of fact, I'm going to Broadway to park my car when we're done here later
Yes.
on. But I needed to try something that was fun. My wife has acted before, and I thought I'd come here and relieve some stress and have a little bit of fun.
And his wife wanted the time off.
And she wanted the time off.
She said, please, Pete, go do this.
Yeah. Please get out of the house.
And if people haven't figured it out by now, we haven't talked about it. You play the role of a taxi driver, right?
Yeah, I helped Mary and Walt get to where they need to go.
Okay.
Get them there safely.
And I'm also sensing by your hat, you're an Elvis fan,
Well.
and the sideburns.
Yeah, I'm also known as AP. You know, Aaron Presley. That's who they call me.
Yeah. I could see that. The resemblance is uncanny.
The king is alive.
In Vegas,
Elvis
man.
forever.
That's right. Everything's possible in Vegas.
That's right.
He's got the same type of mole. Show them.
Oh boy.
You see, if you come to the Saturday night show, we do this live stage thing for a couple hours after.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
20
yeah.
bucks more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete has been very fun to work with. You know, for someone who's not done a lot of shows, he's definitely found his spot here. And
All right.
there.
Yeah, and there.
Over there.
I said there. And there.
All right, so it's the latest ACT production. It's called Marrying Walt, starting on May 12. You've met the cast, all 7 members. I'm not sure where we're going from here, but stick around. We'll be back.
And cut.
Okay. Oh, quit your belly aching.
I don't bellyache. My needs are simple.
Well, she did bring you your paper.
Where?
Oh, right here. There you go.
Well, you know, that old Irish busybody, always carrying more news than CNN. She's always got something to say.
I think that you are in love with Jackie.
Oh, yeah, like a mouse loves making love to a mousetrap. You know, she should go back to Ireland. The war's over.
No, I do believe that Jackie she's now an American citizen. What are you doing with that paper?
Well, I don't like to read used newspapers. You can always tell by the creases if it's used, so I'm checking the creases out.
The only thing in this room that's used is your brain, you old fart.
You see, it smells used. Oh, look!
What?
You didn't push the toast down again.
Oh, well, I thought I did. It must be my arthritis.
You don't have arthritis, I have arthritis.
What do you know about arthritis, old man? I know arthritis when I feel it, and my fingers are just loaded with rheumatoid arthritis.
Rheumatoid arthritis? How about osteoarthritis or fibromyalgia arthritis? You know, I can't move my knees or my hips without sounding like a bone-crunching machine. You're the healthiest woman in 10 counties. There's no doctor alive that's going to make money on you. You and your arthritis in your head and your fingers.
You know what, fibromyalgia this, you old geezer? I have these fingers, they are just loaded with arthritis of taking care of you all these years.
Oh, I've hurt your feelings. Let the bone man kiss the sore spot.
You sit down and behave.
All right.
Get started with your breakfast, and I'll go put some toast in the toaster.
Just make sure you push it down this time, okay?
Well, I thought I pushed it down, but it was stuck. It must...
Stuck? If it was stuck, it would stuck down. If you stick it, it sticks stuck down. It's not stuck down, so you didn't stick it. You know, there's this little knob here. Where's my glasses?
On your knob.
Oh. Well, you just gotta adjust this and you snap it. Yeah.
Yeah, give it a quick jerk.
I did. Oh,
see, what was that you said about a quick jerk?
you know, this is the problem nowadays. You know, lousy American toasters. Oh.
What are you doing with that screwdriver?
Well, you want toast, don't you?
Yeah, but if you're going to make toast, you might want to put a piece of bread in the other hand before you stick that screwdriver in that toaster. That way we can for sure have toast.
Ha ha.
Some of these ladies shouldn't be crawling under their house anymore.
Some of those old ladies should crawl underneath and stay there permanently.
It's attitudes like that that'll keep you from getting married. You don't have to express an opinion to attract a guy. We don't operate that way.
I'll get married when I'm good and ready.
Is anyone ever good and ready to get married?
Well, if this is what they mean by till death do us part, I don't think I'll last that long. If Mr. Right doesn't drop dead after about 25 years, I'll just have to kill him myself.
Vicious.
Oh, well, is this what you want after you retire? Clipping coupons and going to the salad bar once a week for the senior discount? Living with someone who's going blind and half deaf and goes to the bathroom 8 times a night? Huh, no thanks.
It's something to look forward to.
Did you take your stupid pill today? Because if not, I'm really starting to worry about you.
I worry about you too, sis. I wonder if we're even both cut from the same gene pool.
Of course we are. You just went over the deep end.
At least I know how to swim.
Well, when there's nothing but air between your ears, it's not hard to stay afloat.
Can you fix the drip, drip, drip under the foundation? I think not.
Why am I even having this conversation with you anyway? If you want to stay here in Florida and blame Mr. Fixer-Upper to the aging geriatrics in the prune farm, then fine, stay here. But I'm going back to Wisconsin, with or without you.
Fine.
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 Fine. Then do that.
But Dad's coming back with me.
He's not going to go.
Is too.
Is not.
Is too.
Is not.
Enough!
Whoa! Well,
All right, as the update continues, we're talking with two directors for Mary and Walt, the latest ACT production starting on May 12. 8 shows, including a day where there'll be more than one show, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But Sharon, I ask you off the air, has ACT, a lot of ACT productions have been done before. This one has not, and I ask you, had it been? You said no. So why this one?
I read the synopsis of the play and ordered it a long time ago, several years ago. And when I received it and started reading it, I started laughing hilariously. It was just so funny all the way through, the way it takes place, and it's so true to life. And then you get to the end, and I realized this is a show that I always call them Sharon Larkin shows, because they're poignant at the end. It's like true to life. It's like when I did my first show that I ever directed here, or anywhere else for that matter, I did Driving Miss Daisy. And everybody is familiar with that show. And it was that sort of a story, and it ended very touching. Papa's Angels was very similar to that. The mother passed away in the first act, and she wasn't on the rest of the time, but yet you heard her voice at Christmas time singing the carols with the family. Leaving Iowa was similar. He was burying his father's ashes, looking for a place to bury him, and he didn't get along with his father. And then as he reminisced of the trips when he was a young child, he realized how much he had admired his father. So all of them that I've done, and there's like maybe 7 of them, have kind of that same, they lead you down that path of life, of live, like the sign says, live, laugh, love. But there's more to life than live, laughing, and loving. There's loss, and there's lessons learned. They all start with an L, by the way. But life starts with an L. And I just loved the story, and I took it to the board and said, we have to read this. And they all loved it when we had play reading. So that's how it took off. And then there was finally an opening, and I was able to handle that time of the year. And so I contacted Lori, because we're short on directors, very short on directors. And I think people hesitate to direct. They're afraid. They think it's too much to tackle, and it isn't. It really isn't. And so we're bringing new people under our wing, and she's a seasoned actress here at ACT. So I didn't hesitate to say, Lori, I think you'd make a good director. And I'd love to work with her. I've worked with her before on stage, so I called her, and she's assisting me and doing a fine job, I might say.
All right, Lori, little less than 2 weeks before the first show, you've got a chance to get your feet wet directing. How's it going so far?
Oh, I love it. It's awesome to be on the other side. I've never had that chance, and I want to thank Sharon for giving me that opportunity. And it's been an eye-opener, that's for sure.
Now,
but she's a good teacher.
As co-directors, do you wear different hats? Is there a certain, if you're practicing like you will be shortly, are there certain things you handle, or are there certain things Sharon handles? How does that all come together?
Yeah, I kind of go by her guidance right now, because she is the director. And once in a while I'll go, oh, I think it should, oh wait, I'll better ask her first.
But I do the same.
She comes to me and says, what do you think about? So we're kind of together quite a bit.
And I've directed with Rocky, where we've been co-directors then. And if I have an idea, I always put it past him. What do you think, Rocky? You know, it's just in respect. It's just showing respect to the person that you're directing with. And Lori, she's been so capable because she's been in so many shows. So not only does she prompt the actors so that I can be in the back watching and moving around where the audience would be sitting. I'm often found walking up and down those aisles, and so I can get the view from each one of those seats. And Lori, she's able to, if I'm not going to be here for some reason, I've had to miss a couple practices, she can take over. But most of the harder part, what we call the blocking, where you tell people where to stand, where to sit, what to do. And for instance, we've been rehearsing since February.
Yeah.
And last night I sprung it on them. There's a scene I'm not happy with. And so tonight we're going to take a look at that, because there's just one character in that scene that I'm not happy with where he's going, where we've told him to go. And I think that needs to be changed, because in my mind everything's got to be just perfect.
She does a good job of it too, though.
So that's called
She
blocking.
does,
And
yeah, she does a great job
and-
at blocking.
Lori's going to be good with that too. She is, because she's got a good eye for it.
Thank you.
So when people come to see Mary and Walt, and it's all said and done, and I did ask one of the cast members earlier in the interview, let me ask you this, Sharon. What do you hope, when they come to see the show, what do you hope to take out of it?
Well, I think when they come and they watch it, they're going to realize how much we argue in life. We do. And in 1 minute, the scene is an argument, and that's what I had you kind of film today, because that's life. But in the next minute, it's loving. And that's the way life is. And there just needs to be more, a little bit more love, and a little more laughter in life, and a little less bantering, but make sure that when you're picking your fights, you're choosing your fights. That's the success. That's the keys of a successful marriage.
And Sharon, you've directed a lot of ACT productions, and I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, it's your call, but directing this one under a little different circumstances in your life, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Like I said, live, laugh, love, loss. And it was our son Mike who, it was a year and a half ago tonight.
Wow, I did not
Exactly
realize
a year and a half ago tonight that we lost him. But he's the one that, well, it was Terry's parents that got Terry and I into going to plays. But it was Mike that got us involved when ACT was moving into Tomah, because he was involved out at Fort McCoy. And he'll be there. He'll have the best seat in the house. I know he will. And it's just a coincidence that shortly before he passed, he said, I always wanted to be in a play that you directed, Mom.
Really?
And so
Wow.
I directed what was it called? Buying the Moose.
Yeah.
Buying the Moose. And Mike and Joe Minnie and Mel Carroll and Laura Berg were in that play. And they did a fantastic job. It was a great play. And it was a touching play as well. So this one, no matter how many times we've rehearsed, and we have rehearsed hundreds of times, when we get to the last two scenes, one of them has Randy and her father Walt in it. And then the last scene has most of the characters in the play. Those two scenes, I can feel the hair on my arms raise. It's so touching. It's so sentimental. And it's going to touch a lot of hearts. And there will be laughter throughout the play, and there will probably be a couple tears shed at the end by certain people, that it might just touch their heart. But like I said, that's life, and we have to live our lives and our experiences, and people shouldn't miss this one, because it tells so much about life.
Are we looking at production for the whole family?
Yeah, I think you could bring even little ones. I mean, Stuart, who is our priest, his two little ones. Yeah. I mean, she's Emma is about 5, and Gabriel's 7, maybe 6, 7. They've come and sat in the audience night after night while their dad rehearses. And they're good little kids.
All right, we want to continue to talk with Lori in a second here, but I want to jump back to a very successful, not that long ago, very successful event for ACT, the Mr. Legs contest. And I bring that up because that was kind of your idea, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, I have a friend in New Orleans, and they've done it down there for years. Unfortunately, I'd never witnessed it, but I've talked to her about it a lot. And so I kept talking to the board about it. And they just didn't have quite the vision, and Dario will tell you that. Mm-hmm. And finally I talked to Bridget on the side and got her going. So we planned it in 2020. We had the 10 candidates, and just before it was going to take place, about a month before COVID broke out. Yeah. So we had to cancel it. Yep. And then 8 of the 10 participants came back 2 years later for it. it was very successful. Very successful. It was a lot of fun. And so everybody wants us to do it again this year.
And how close are you to paying off this building? Are you close?
Oh yes, we're getting very close. Thanks to an anonymous, very generous benefactor who they approached Terry and I a couple years ago, about a year, a little over a year ago, and asked how much we owed. And at that time it was a little over $200,000. And so they came up with the idea that they would be willing to match anything up to $100,000 if we could raise it. So we have been to the bank and we owe about $90,000 now. And we're working on that last $90,000, and then we're going to have a party, and everybody's invited.
What kind of money did Mr. Legs bring out of curiosity? Do you have a number?
Not exactly, but
Okay.
let's put it this way, it was well over $10,000.
Wow.
So our plan is to do it each year now, coming up.
Latest ACT production starting on May 12th. We're talking with the co-director, Sharon Larkin on your left and Lori Ripley on your right. Lori, 8 shows, but there will be one day you're going to have 2 shows on the same day. There's a reason for that, right?
Yes, 2 of our main actresses won't be there. So we're having on the 12th, which would be Thursday night, then Friday night, and then Saturday we're having on the 14th a matinee at 1 o'clock, and then at 7 again that night. And then Sunday there'll be another show, and then the following week will be Thursday, Friday, not Saturday, but Sunday.
First time directing after many productions and for ACT, but the first time directing for Lori. Bottom line is, you're surrounded by some pretty good people. That's got to make it easier, doesn't it?
It does. Bridget and Jerry, they
Yeah.
really know their stuff. So it's easy when Sharon's not there, that if I do have a question, I mean, Bridget's ready to jump right in there. So it's been fun. It's been interesting.
What's the easiest way to get tickets if I'm looking in right now? What's the easiest way to get tickets?
To go online to box office at Tomah.com. ACT though, ain't it?
Box office at Tomah, yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Box
office at
Tomah
ACT.
ACT.
Box office at TomahACT.com. It's hard because we have two.
Or call Tuesday through Friday,
or stop in.
10 o'clock until 3.
Before we wrap it up, we also want to get a plug in, because it's just around the corner, June 2nd, you have another Bingo Palooza, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
And there's another highly
Yeah.
successful fundraiser. So much fun. We're just so blessed to have Bridget and Jerry both, because they both participate in that. This is Dr. B's Bingo
Yeah.
Palooza.
Yeah.
So. Then one other thing that I'd like to mention is that the playwright of this play, Marrying Walt, it's like getting married to Walt. The real odd thing is it's Mary and Walt are the characters, but the name of the show is Marrying
Right.
Walt. And it's by James Danek, D-A-N-E-K. He's out of St. Louis. I've spoke to him a number of times, and Rocky has as well. He's talking about coming on opening night, so we're kind of hoping that he does. So he sounds like a really fun person, and I can understand that because of the way the play is written. You can tell that he's got a great personality.
Okay, ladies, anything else for leaving out as we wrap it up?
I can't think of anything that we haven't covered except our sponsors, and there's so many of them, it's
Yeah.
actually too numerous to mention at this time. But we have underwriters. Underwriters are people that donate $1,000, and it's used throughout the year for all of our plays. There's 5 plays a year, and each play is produced 8 times. And then the sponsors are people who pay $250 to sponsor an individual group of 8. You know, one individual production, which is 8 plays. So we have underwriters, and I think we have 7 underwriters, and we have 5 or 6 sponsors for this play. So we have quite a number of people that generously support ACT. Thank goodness.
Sharon Larkin on your left, on her left on your right, Lori Ripley, co-directors to the latest ACT production called Marrying Walt, starting on Thursday, May 12th, the first of 8 shows. Ladies, thank you for your time. Appreciate you making time, and I know it'll be a great show. Thank you again.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Greg.
Greg.
You're always here when we need you. And
Yes.
it's remarkable how much you get done in our community. You're always, everywhere it's important, you'll find the Hagen Sport Network.
Well, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much.
Come fill